C'est le cours le plus exhaustif sur les if conditionals que vous allez trouver sur Internet. This is the most comprehensive if conditional lesson you will find anywhere on the Internet. Hello everybody, it's Coach Joe, your English coach. Si vous n'avez pas encore vu mes vidéos sur les if conditionals, part 1 et if conditionals, part 2, je vous encouragerai d'aller regarder part 1 pour la fondation et part 2, advanced if conditionals, avant de regarder celle-ci. Cette vidéo couronne notre série sur les if conditionals avec l'épisode 3. All right, everybody. After watching part 1, part 2, and part 3, you will become if conditional ninjas. Après avoir regardé part 1, part 2 et part 3, vous serez des ninjas du if conditionals. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so if conditionals part 3 is simply showing you other ways of constructing or structuring an if conditional sentence. I don't need to go back and explain what an if conditional is, when do we use it, the different clauses in if conditionals. I am assuming that you have already watched part 1 and part 2. So let's get right into it. If with modals, okay, we use them with modals, may, could, will, should, etc. So it expresses possible situations in the present. For instance, if you get wet, you should change your clothes immediately. All right, if you get wet, you should. This is a modal verb. It acts as an auxiliary, but it's actually a modal auxiliary. You should change your clothes immediately. If you come early, we can discuss the problem together. All right, so here we are using modals to express possible situations in the present, not in the past, okay? We can also use it for hypothetical situations, okay? Or a hypothetical situation. For example, if I had money, I could help you, right? If I had money, I could. This is a modal verb. I could, or a modal auxiliary. I could help you. We also use modals with hypothetical past situations. For example, if you had not reminded me, I might have forgotten. If you hadn't reminded me, I might have forgotten. The might here is the modal verb, and it is the past form of the verb may, or the modal may. All right? Very good. Number 2, we use if conditionals for if only, okay? In the expression if only to add emphasis on hypothetical situations with past events. And so when you use if only, it adds a sense of regret sometimes. For instance, if only I had enough time. And also sometimes you do not need to complete the sentence, meaning that you only need one clause, which is the main clause introduced by if. The other clause is implied, okay, or implicit. You do not need to write it out. Okay, makes sense? All right, second example. If only you hadn't drunk so much, this would not have happened. Now, we're regretting that you drank too much, that you drank too much. If you had not drunk so much, this would not or wouldn't have happened. This is the perfect conditional. We call this tense the perfect conditional. And this is the past perfect. So if only, it's emphasizing on hypothetical situations with past event. You got drunk, this happened. Both clauses are in the past. Make sense? Number 3, unless. We can use unless to imply if not. For instance, I'll set up the client meeting unless you tell me otherwise. Okay? Meaning that if you don't tell me to set up the client meeting, I will not set it up, okay? But I will set it up if you don't tell me not to set it up. So unless is if not. Start making sentences with unless. It's actually very, very easy to do, okay? Practice. As long as, so long as, or provided. You can also put as soon as there, but in this category, we're talking about as long as, so long as, which also means as long as. This is S-O, this is A-S, okay? And then this is provided. Or you can also say provided that, but you don't need the that. So we use this for if one situation depends on another, we use them, okay? So we use them if one situation, meaning one clause, depends on another clause. For instance, I'll do what you say, provided the police are not involved, okay? I'll do whatever you say, provided the police are not involved. Et vous voyez, j'ai fait cette phrase sciemment pour vous expliquer que le mot police est toujours et toujours au pluriel. Toujours au pluriel. Ce n'est jamais au singulier, okay? I'll do what you say, provided the police are not involved, okay? Donc, provided the police are not involved, so long as the police are not involved, ou bien as long as the police are not involved. Make sense? Number 5, even if. It describes how something will happen, whatever the condition, okay? It will have, whatever the condition is, that thing will happen. For example, even if it rains, we will go mountain climbing. Even if it rains, we will go mountain climbing. Randonnée en montagne, mountain climbing, okay? All right, so far, I know that you love this video, okay? I know that you love the series on the if conditionals. But what I want to ask you is, have you already liked the video? Have you already shared the video? Have you already subscribed to my channel? And most importantly, have you already activated the notification bell? If you have not done that yet, please do it now. Également, si vous pensez que tout ça vraiment c'est très bien, Coach Kojo, mais je me perds parce que c'est extrêmement compliqué, ne vous en faites pas. Nous avons un programme d'immersion sur mesure pour les francophones. Nous avons déjà aidé plus de 7000 francophones dans plus de 50 pays du monde entier à parler couramment l'anglais. Si vous êtes prêt à investir en vous à travers l'apprentissage d'anglais dans notre programme d'immersion, il n'y a pas de problème. En commentaire, mettez tout simplement que vous êtes intéressé par notre programme d'immersion et je vous contacterai. Donc, mettez un contact, je vais vous contacter pour vous en dire plus. All right, everybody, let's continue. Number 6, should. We can also use should for conditionals. All right, so after if, should makes the possibility of something happening unlikely. When we use should, that means whatever we think is going to happen has a very small chance or probability of happening. Example, if you should see Fatu, could you ask her to call me? You know, there's probably a 10% or 5% chance that you see Fatu. That's why I say if you should. And so here we use it after if, okay, to mean that the chance is very small. The probability is very small. This implies that I do not expect you to see Fatu. But if you should see her, tell her to call me. All right. Number 7, where to. Should, where to, and happen to are almost the same thing, but they imply different degrees of probability. So where to has a slightly higher probability than should. Okay, this also makes an event seem hypothetical. For example, if I were to ask you to marry me, would you say yes? If I were to ask you to marry me, would you say yes? Why don't you just ask me to marry you? Okay, all right. Or here you can also say, if you were to see Fatu, could you ask her to call me? If you were to see Fatu, would you ask her to call me? Number 8, as I said, should, where to, and happen to are members of the same family. They're brothers. Okay, this is the third brother. And happen to emphasizes a chance of possibility. It is often used with should. For example, if you happen to see Fatou, could you ask her to call me? So here, you may see Fatou, and if you happen to see her, tell her to call me. If you should happen to be passing, drop by for tea, okay? If you should happen. So we can use it standalone without the should, or we can also use it with should. Drop by simply means visit, okay? Stop by my place, my office, where I am for tea, to have tea. Number 9, if it were not for, or if it hadn't been for. This describes how one event depends on another event. For instance, if it weren't for Musa, this company would be a mess. That means Musa came, Musa fixed the company or is continuing to fix the company. And if Musa did not come, the company would not be in a good shape. All right? A second example, if it hadn't been for their goalkeeper, Morocco would have lost that game. Do you guys remember the World Cup and the goalkeeper?
It's saved! Yassine Bouno keeps it out!
Morocco's goalkeeper. Well, this sentence says, if it hadn't been, okay, if it hadn't been, so we're using this structure right here. If it hadn't been for their goalkeeper, Morocco would have lost that game. They did not lose the game, or they had not lost the game because the goalkeeper had blocked a lot of the shots, okay?
Busquets can't find a way past Bono!
All right, number 10, will or would. Will or would can be used as polite forms, okay? We use them as polite forms. For instance, if you will wait here, I'll see if my boss is available. If you will wait, okay? If you will wait here, it's just a form, it's just a way to be polite, okay? If you will wait here, I'll see if my boss is available. Example number 2, if you would take a seat, I will, okay? So here we can use would and then will. It's fine because this would is just for politeness. I will fix you a cup of coffee, all right? Number 11, will. So again, will, but here we use it to mean insist on doing. This one is a little bit harder to understand. So please go back and watch this part again. Example, if you will stay out late, no wonder you are always tired, or no wonder you are tired. Here, it means the green is just to rephrase the sentence, meaning if you insist on staying out late, well, it is clear, it is normal, it is expected, it is obvious that you will always be tired, okay? Number 12, supposing or suppose. Pour ceux qui se demandent, est-ce que Coach Kojo va parler en français aujourd'hui là? Ça, c'est la version avancée. C'est pourquoi je parle anglais. Parce que si vous voulez regarder ça, ça veut dire que votre niveau est assez corsé. All right? That's why I'm speaking English. Also, I'm speaking more English so that I can help you guys with listening and comprehension also. So it's a good thing for you that I speak more English than French. C'est une bonne chose pour vous que je parle plus anglais que le français pour vous aider avec la compréhension. All right, number 12, supposing or suppose. Here, it can replace if. Example, supposing you won the bet, what would you do? Okay, meaning if you won the bet, what would you do? This is second conditional also. This is second conditional, but instead of the if, we replace it with supposing or suppose. Example with suppose. Suppose I said no. Would you be mad? Okay, that means if I said no, would you be mad? Number 13, otherwise. How do we use otherwise? First of all, what does that mean? It means or if not, or if not. It can go at the beginning or at the end of a clause. Okay, example, thanks for giving us directions to your house. We would not have found it otherwise, meaning we would not have found your house otherwise. Here, the meaning of this sentence, and again, you see the green asterisks, simply explains the sentence. It means if you had not given If you, given n'a pas de G à la fin, sorcier gazou gazou là, vous ne l'aurez jamais. If you hadn't given us the directions to your house, we would not have found your house. Okay, that's what it means. Thanks for giving us directions to your house, comma, otherwise we would not have found it, ou bien, comma, we would not have found it otherwise, au début de la proposition ou à la fin de la proposition. Number 14, but for. Ça aussi, c'est pas facile à avaler, mais on y va, mollo mollo. This can replace if not. Okay? It is used in a formal language. This is more formal and must be followed by a noun form. For example, but for your help, we would have been in trouble. Okay, but for your help. But plus a noun form. But for your help. There is no verb here. Okay, it means if you had not helped us, we would have been in trouble. Okay, all right, number 15. If so or if not. This can refer to a sentence understood but not stated, meaning that everybody understand it, but they didn't say it out loud. They didn't say it clearly. For example, there is a possibility that Alioune will be late. If so, I will substitute for him. Meaning that if Alioune is late, I will sub for him. So here, again, it is implied that if so means if Alioune is late, I will substitute or I will sub for him. Make sense? Everybody listen. Je sais que vous adorez mes vidéos, mais il faut juste le prouver. Chaque fois que vous regardez mes vidéos, faites 4 choses. Likez la vidéo, partagez la vidéo dans vos groupes WhatsApp ou sur vos réseaux sociaux, notamment LinkedIn et Facebook, parce que Instagram, vous ne pouvez pas partager de liens. Ok? Ensuite, souscrivez-vous à la chaîne. Ok? Juste cliquez le bouton souscrire à la chaîne et surtout activez la cloche de notification pour ne jamais rater mes vidéos. C'est très important. Pour activer la cloche, il faut souscrire. Vous ne pouvez pas activer la cloche sans souscrire. Et lorsque vous activez la cloche, chaque fois que je publie une vidéo, boum, vous recevez la notification. Vous pouvez écrire le titre de la vidéo quelque part et voir ça après. Vous comprenez? Vous pouvez même mettre ça. Je suggère que vous mettiez ça sur votre agenda électronique sur Google. Vous voyez, mettez « Regardez la vidéo de Kojo intitulée « Boum, boum, boum ». Et mettez ça à un créneau où vous êtes sûr de ne pas être occupé. All right? That's it. Number 16. Colloquial omission. Ça, c'est un gros mot. Colloquial omission of if. That means in everyday conversation. Colloquial. Okay? An imperative can be used instead of an if clause if in everyday speech. Ah, ça là, c'est très intéressant. Everyday peut être utilisé en 2 mots ou en 1 mot. C'est utilisé en 2 mots pour dire every day I go to the gym, every day I go to work, etc. C'est utilisé en 1 mot comme adjectif. Ok, les habitudes de tous les jours. Everyday habits. Ok, la conversation de tous les jours. Everyday speech. C'est pourquoi c'est en 1 mot. Notez ça dans vos carnets. Ça, c'est très important. Alright. Je profite toujours pour vous expliquer d'autres choses outre le sujet de la vidéo elle-même. Ok? Sit down. Imperative. Ça, c'est la forme impérative. Sit down and I'll make you a cup of tea. Ok? Sit down and I'll make you... Vous voyez comment j'ai dit down? J'ai pas dit down. J'ai pas dit sit down. J'ai dit sit down. Sit down. Sit down and I'll make you a cup of tea. Et vous voyez ici également cup of tea. Cup of tea. J'ai pas dit cup of tea. Ça, on l'appelle réduction. Je ferai une vidéo sur les réductions. If you sit down, I'll make you a cup of tea. That's what it means. If you sit down, I will make you a cup of tea. Number 17. If and adjectives. In expressions such as if it is necessary or if it is possible, it is okay to omit the verb to be or the auxiliary to be. Let's look at 2 examples really quickly. If possible, let me know what my options are. If possible, let me know what my options are. This is an if conditional sentence. If we don't have the verb to be here, but you can also say if it is possible, but it's too long. You can delete the verb to be. If possible, let me know what my options are. Or if interested, apply within 2 days. Within veut dire entre aujourd'hui et. Okay? Entre aujourd'hui et 2 jours. Je ferai un cours sur la différence entre within, oui, within et in. Je pense à un cours qui va vous aider énormément. Parce que within, les francophones ne savent pas comment utiliser within. En fait, on a donné plus de 20 000 cours et c'est très rarement que j'entends les francophones dire within. All right, last but not least, wow, number 18. If, in this case, it's used as in although, to mean although. Si vous ne savez pas comment prononcer ces mots, though, tough, thoughts, taught, throughout, thorough, thaw, trough, allez regarder ma vidéo sur le sujet. J'ai fait une magnifique vidéo. Il n'y a pas de vidéo comme ça sur YouTube. D'ailleurs, cette vidéo, vous n'allez pas trouver une seule vidéo comme ça sur le if conditional qui va en détail comme ça sur le if conditional sur YouTube. C'est impossible. Donc, mes vidéos sont uniques, okay, pour vous, les francophones. Parce que I like you, all right? All right, so, formally, it can mean although. That's what it means. Usually as if plus adjective. Ça, c'est un peu dur également. C'est comme le but for, là, qui est un peu dur. C'est comme le will, là, qui est un peu dur. Donc, je ne vous cache pas que le dernier, j'ai réservé ça pour la fin. Example. The room is well furnished if badly decorated. What? If badly decorated. That means the room is well furnished, although it is, I don't like the way it's decorated. Although it is badly decorated. You can fix the decoration, but I like the furniture. Okay, I like the sofa, I like the table, I like the coffee table, I like the chairs, but, you know, decorated better. That's all. Listen, everybody, if conditionals are not difficult. Just practice and you will see that you will start making progress. All right, everybody, like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel, activate the notification bell so you never miss my videos again. It's Coach Joe, your English coach. Take care, guys.